answers, so that other families in the future do not have to face the heartbreak that Daniel and his family are facing today?
Yes, indeed, Mr. Speaker, and I know that everybody will sympathise very much with Daniel Kaplan and his family, and I will do what I can to ensure that she is able to make representations to the Department of Health about ensuring that childhood brainstem cancers are properly understood and properly tackled by this country.
Sir Graham Blady.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Some people are anxious to return to work, and some people find that they're actually as happy and productive at home working as they would be at the office. But does the Prime Minister agree with me that the worst reason for staying at home is to follow blanket government advice that takes no account of safety? And will he commit to revising that government advice urgently?
Prime Minister.
Well, as I'm sure he knows from studying the government advice, my right honourable friend will see that it is, we say very clearly, it's important that business should be carried on, and that employers should decide in consultation with their workers whether it is safe for their workers to come in, to work, or whether they should continue working from home. I happen to think that employers in this country have made huge strides in getting our workplaces safe, and that is the message that I think we should all be conveying.
Let's head to Livingston and visit Hannah Bardell. Hannah Bardell.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I'm sure the Prime Minister will agree that men who mock women have no place in our society. Yet, according to Baroness Cumberledge in her report last week into the hormone pregnancy test Primidos, sodium valproate and vaginal mesh, that is exactly what happened to thousands of women at the hands of some male medical experts. She said that many women were gaslighted and not believed. So will the Prime Minister commit to implementing all of the recommendations in her report? And will he meet with me, Primidos campaigner Mary Lyon, and my constituent Wilma Ord, who suffered as a result of Primidos, to ensure that women are heard and not denied essential care, and those affected get the recompense they are rightfully due?
Prime Minister.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I'm sure I speak for many members in this House when I say I've had direct representations as a constituency MP from women who have suffered from exactly the conditions that were identified by Baroness Cumberledge and her committee, and I can also assure her that this government takes that issue with extreme seriousness, and I have absolutely no hesitation in acceding to her request for a meeting either with myself or with the Department of Health to make sure that she feels that we're addressing the issues in the way that she would want.
John Stevens.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The government wants green energy. The government wants to have security of energy supply. The government wants to boost economic development in the regions. The government wants to encourage apprenticeships and youth employment. The government wants to increase innovation investment and to have a dynamic supply chain. This is all on offer in Cumbria. Will the Prime Minister support, with government financial backing, the building of nuclear power generation facilities in Cumbria?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, we believe that nuclear power is a significant potential contributor to our net zero ambitions, and I look forward to working with my honourable friend to ensure that Cumbria continues its long historic tradition as a pioneer of new nuclear technology.
Final question, Helen Hayes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is exactly a week since 18-year-old Donnell Rule was murdered with a knife on the Kingswood estate in my constituency, leaving his family devastated and a close-knit community reeling. It is exactly 2 years since the Youth Violence Commission published its interim report setting out irrefutable evidence for the introduction of a cross-government approach to tackling serious violence. Yet the scourge of knife crime across the country continues. The Youth Violence Commission will publish its final report tomorrow. Will the Prime Minister commit to accept its recommendations and act immediately to introduce a cross-government public health approach to tackling serious violence and stop any more families from suffering such terrible loss?
Prime Minister.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I know that everybody's sympathies will be with the family of the victim in her constituency, as they're with the families of all victims of knife crime. I think that there are two things we have to do. First of all, I entirely agree with her. You need a cross-departmental medical approach focused on the needs of the families of the kids who particularly get involved in knife crime, and you need to put your arms around them and stop them being diverted into the gangs that are so often the root cause of the problem. But you also need a tough policing solution. And I've been concerned for the last few years that in London, in particular, which she represents, we have not seen the approach that we saw under the previous mayor, for instance, where there was a significant reduction in knife crime, a significant reduction in murder, by dint of having proportionate policing that included the use of stop and search to stop young kids carrying knives. We need to have zero tolerance of kids going out on the street armed with a bladed weapon. That is absolutely vital. And the people, member opposite says shocking. Member opposite says shocking. The people who, in my experience, who are most supportive of taking the knives of kids on the streets of our city are the mothers of those kids who are most at risk of being killed. They support stop and search, and I hope she does too.